Good good night. Good night. Good night. Give me a second while I find out what light I should use with this. Let me see. Okay, that makes it look nice. Okay, I think I like this. I think I like this color. All right, so I wonder what it looks like with the lights off. I'll do that later. Okay, so it's been a week. It's been a week. Took some much needed time off. It wasn't PTO. I didn't get paid time off, but it was some time off. It was probably illegal time off, but it was time off. So the topic for today, we're talking about a lot of things. So I'm gonna start off with a quick story. So today we were on our way to church, and as we were on our way to church, it was me, my mother, my father, my aunt, my siblings, 3 of them. I have 3 siblings, and so we were on our way to church this morning, and on our way, it was so in Georgia they have one-way lanes. We're in a neighborhood, one-way lanes. So you one way this way, one way coming back. So you got these one-way lanes. And so as we're coming, and another truck is coming, we see a squirrel in the road. Squirrel. And the squirrel is a bit confused. He starts to panic because he sees a car over there, a car coming. I don't know if he knows, like, oh my gosh, there's a car there and a car there. He probably doesn't know. But, you got this squirrel. And we keep going. And we run the squirrel over. My mother runs the squirrel over, and she's like, oh my gosh. First she said she hoped she didn't hit it, but she did. And she ran the squirrel over with the car. And you heard the squirrel's bones crack as the car ran over. You heard the squirrel's bones crack as the car ran over him. And it was a very painful experience. It was like, oh, my mother was like, oh my gosh. She was really sad that she ran over the thing. My aunt was like, oh my gosh. So, you got that. And that's when I'm sitting there, and, my mom was like, oh my goodness. And I'm just like, Mom, I said, it's just a squirrel. Kill it, and let's keep going. She's like, I didn't mean to kill it. And then, so we started talking about that. And a few weeks ago, we got some caterpillars. And the caterpillars, we watched them grow up into butterflies, and we still have 2 of them. One of these caterpillars broke their leg. So the leg came off. Broke his leg came off. So we just decided to keep him, and then the other caterpillar, the guy's not trying to go anywhere, so we got him too. And you may be saying, okay, why are you telling us these stories? So look, you see bad things happen to people every single day. Bad things happen. Why is there homeless people? Man, this guy's car just broke down. Man, this happened to me. 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 One thing, and people always like to blame God for their issues. People like to blame God for the problems that they have in everyday life. But one thing you have to understand is it's not God's fault. Yes, it is God's fault. It is God's fault. People like to argue, it is God's fault. It is God's fault. It's not God's fault. The thing that you have to understand is when God first ordained life was supposed to be perfect. But now you got all these issues. Man, I feel bad for the squirrel. He got run over by the car. Sam, I felt bad a little bit too. Man, the butterfly broke his leg. Man, that's sad. Man, this happened to this animal. Man, that's sad. Man, that guy's homeless. That's sad. Man, this happened. Man, that's sad. Man, that happened. This little girl was raped. This guy was killed because of his skin color. This happened. Man, this person was born with a deformity. Like, that kid was born like, he was born like that. And he looks deformed, You say it's God's fault. And one thing you have to understand is you can't charge God foolishly. You got to watch what you say to God. That's one. 2, it's not God's fault why things are the way that they are. It's people's fault. It's our fault. Because before sin came into the world, life was perfect. Adam and Eve, you read Genesis, it gives you a short amount of their life before the fall. But their lives were perfect. I mean, animals could talk. It was obvious that animals could talk before the fall. I mean, you got Eve sitting here having a full-blown conversation with the snake, and she doesn't seem a bit worried. So it's obvious that animals could talk. She was used to it. She's sitting here talking to the snake. Animals could talk. It was obvious. They didn't have the same limitations that we have here today. I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to fly and not have to go through the limitations that we have today. So, and you may say, well, okay, well, why do we have the limitations? Because sin came into the world. Now you have people that die. Now you have deformities. Now you have sickness. Now you have infirmity. Now you have this. Now you have that. Now people are this way. People are that way. One thing you have to understand is God is righteous. God is holy. He doesn't just let things happen just because he wants to let them happen. Everything happens for a reason. So why is my life so hard? Well, because sin is in the world. And because sin is in the world, the more sin, the more problems that has to be, the more problems that sin is going to bring, the more sin is in the world. But the less sin that's in the world, then the less problems you're going to have. So if there's less sin, less problems. More sin, more problems. And if there just wasn't a lot of sin here, there wouldn't be as much problems. You'd still have problems because sin is here. But if there wasn't a lot of people sinning, problems wouldn't be here. There would not be these many problems. God would protect people. God would prosper people. You wouldn't see homeless people. Life would be good. But because there's so much sin, this guy and this guy decided that they want to get married, and that girl decided that they wanted to get married, and this kid doesn't want to listen to his mom, and this person went over to that bank and stole money and killed the officers that were there. You got all these weird, crazy scenarios that happen in our everyday life, and it's becoming normal. And we're not supposed to be okay with the fact that bad things are becoming normal. Now it's normal for this bad thing to happen, and it's rare for good things to happen. And that's not how life's supposed to be. We're supposed to get used to good, not get used to the bad. And the reason why bad is here in the first place is because sin. And because there's sin, you're going to have problems. But a lot of people like to blame God. Man, it's God's fault. It's God's fault. Like, no, God is like, it is not my fault. You people on the earth are idiots. You guys are idiots. And this is what you do. You do stuff like this, and you expect me to just cover for you. You expect God to just cover for you. You expect to be able to go and do that and nothing happened to you. You expect to be able to go over to your boyfriend's house and fornicate and not get any diseases, not to get any problems in your life. Like, no, you're going to get problems. Like, when you sin, the soul that sins will die. And if you don't die when you fornicate, you're going to face some form of judgment from the Lord, because that is sin. So if you feel like, man, if you have a remorseful heart, like, not remorseful, what's the word? If you have a mind that tells you that life is not supposed to be as hard as it is, then you need to evaluate, well, okay, why is life this hard? What's the most reliable piece of history to tell me why life is hard? The Bible. The Bible is history. It's history, and it's how people are supposed to live. So the Bible is a whole bunch of things, but we're going to focus on it as history. The Bible is history. Okay, let's go back to history. Why is life this way? Oh, because man sinned against God. God said this, man did that. And so sin came in the world, and now we have these issues, these everyday issues. Man, I'm not supposed to wake up and roll out of the bed. I'm supposed to be able to get up and get out of the bed with ease. I'm not supposed to walk out and stub my toe and say those are regular. Yes, it's because you have you have become acquainted. You've become what's the word? Neutralized? No. Bad has become normal to you. Failure has become normal to you. Like, no, failure is not normal. Failure is not supposed to be normal. You're not supposed to know failure. You're supposed to know success, not failure. But since people are so well acquainted with failure, they're used to failing, and they don't have a problem failing. Like, oh, yeah, I failed. Everybody fails. Like, no, that is not how it's supposed to be. That is not the mindset to have. Life is supposed to be easy. I'm supposed to have what I need. I'm supposed to live the way God has called for me to live. Life is supposed to be easy, not hard. So And once you get that in your head, like, life is not supposed to be this hard. I'm not supposed to close my dress inside of my car door. I'm not supposed to run over animals with my car. I'm not supposed to stub my toe. I'm not supposed to accidentally cut my finger while I'm cutting vegetables. Man, my water is supposed to taste good. I'm not supposed to get sick. I'm not supposed to do these weird things. My life is supposed to be easy. I'm supposed to succeed. I'm supposed to ascend in life. But why am I descending? Why is there so much failure? Why is my life hard? Because there's sin. The reason is sin. And you may say, well, if sin is here, how do we get rid of it? Sin is something that you can't necessarily completely get rid of. It's going to always be here until Jesus Christ comes. But what you can do is diminish it. The less people sinning, the less problems you're going to have. The less people sinning, the less problems you're going to have. You see that with Israel. When Israel was following the Lord, their lives were easy when they were obeying the commands of Moses, which was very rare. And when they weren't obeying the commands of Moses, life was hard. Life was hard. God wouldn't just drop leprosy on the children of Israel just because. It's because sin is there. Sin is here, so I'm going to give leprosy. Leprosy comes from sin. Sin breeds problems. Sin comes with problems. So because, hold on. Sorry. So because there is sin here, you're going to face the problems that sin brings. Now, you can rid yourself of sin. So, okay. And the less you sin, the less problems you're going to have to face. Like, okay, while the world around me is crumbling, I'm succeeding. So everybody around me is drowning. Like they're drowning, and I'm just sitting on the water. I'm walking on the water while everybody else is drowning. How can this be? Because you're not sinning. Sin is going to drag you down. Righteousness is going to lift you up. Faithfulness is going to lift you up. Wow, I'm walking on the water while everything and everyone around me is sinking and drowning. I am sailing on the waves. I'm walking on the water while it's boisterous. While the tempest is in the sea, I'm walking on it. And God wants your life to be like that. That's miraculous. He's walking on the water because his righteousness upholds him. His faithfulness uplifts him. Your sin is what's dragging you down. Your sin is what's weighing you down. Once you take off, because what you have to understand is we're all supposed to be walking on the water. Sin was not meant to be. Hell is not even for people. Hell wasn't created for people. Hell was made for the devil and his angels. That's why it's such a bad place. That's why it's such a bad place, because Satan is a spirit. Their spirits, they're stronger. Their bodies can take more. So God's like, I got to make this thing bad. And then people sin. So he's like, well, now I have to send people there who aren't as strong as these demons. The demons, not that the demons can take it, but their bodies can handle more. Their spirits, so they can handle more. But God's like, okay, I didn't create this place for humans. So God didn't make us as strong as the angels that he cast out. But then people sin, and now people go there. Your body wasn't created for hell. Sam's body wasn't created for hell, because I'm not going. Sin wasn't supposed to be here. Sin is not supposed to be weighing you down. That's why all you have to do is take it off and then watch as you ascend. And then now you're walking on the water. All you have to do is take off that cloak of sin. It's weighing you down. Take off the weighted vest and watch you rise above the waves. Watch you rise. Watch this, because sin sinks. Sin is sinking. Sin is dragging everyone down to hell. But righteousness is uplifting you. And as you walk on the water, everybody's going to watch you. Whoa. While they're sinking, man, keep going. While you're sinking. And they don't want to let go of their sin. So they're just going to keep sinking until it starts getting worse and worse and worse and worse for them. But your life is sailing, and that's how your life is supposed to be. Everybody was created to walk on the water. Everybody was created for their lives to be easy. And society knows that life is not supposed to be hard. That's why they created technology. Technology is supposed to fill in the gap of sin. Technology is created because, come on, you got days where it's like, man, it's so hot. I'm going inside, get some AC. Like, if there was no sin, the sun wouldn't be beating on you like that. The sun wouldn't be beating on you like that. Because there's sin, the sun is here to smite you. But for the believers, the sun's not going to smite us. We can stay outside and not burn. But since there's sin here, oh, now the sun's rays are going to hit you like this. Like, oh, yes, the sun's rays are going to hit you like that. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Technology was created to fill in what sin destroyed, but it can't fully fill it in. That's why they keep trying to improve technology, because it's like, man, it's missing something. It's missing something. It's missing something. It's missing God and righteousness. We forget technology. Adam and Eve didn't need technology. You would say, well, how did they get in touch with each other if she was on this side of the garden and he was on that side? There was no limit to what they could do. They didn't have the physical laws of nature preventing them from the supernatural. Gravity wasn't against them. Nothing was against them. Like, they could tell, hey, Mr. Lion, yeah, go tell Eve that I said this. Okay, the lion goes, he tells Eve, and the lion comes back. Well, yeah, Eve said this. Okay, or, hey, like, you could just, like, I'm going to disappear from where I am. I'm going to appear where Eve is to let her know this. Disappear from here. Appear there. Hey, Eve, this. Or just walk. And your legs aren't going to get tired. Run. You're not going to get tired. When you stop running, it's just because you decided to stop running because you reached your destination. They didn't have the limitations that we have. And people know this. Like, okay, we're going to invent cars. Because life is not supposed to be this hard. Life is not supposed to be this hard. Invent cars. Man, I can't talk to this person all the way over there that's living in this country and I live in this country. Invent phones and telephones and stuff so we can talk to each other. Like, because the body knows, you know, your flesh knows, your body knows, man, I wasn't created to have all of these complications to life. This is not, no, I wasn't created for this. Your body knows, so that's why your body's like, hey, we weren't created for this, man. We weren't created for this. Make something to accommodate us. AC, we need AC. Without sin, we wouldn't need AC. Weather would be perfect. It will only rain when we want it. It probably wouldn't even rain. The mist would just come up and water the ground. I mean, come on. Life would be easy. So without sin, you're supposed to float. With sin, you're gonna sink. With sin, you are going to sink. But with Jesus, your righteousness, Jesus is going to uphold your faithfulness. You being faithfulness is what's upholding you. Your sin is what's dragging you below the waves. It's what's dragging you below the waves. So keep that in mind. We weren't created for this. If there was no sin, we wouldn't have all these complications and problems. So less sin, less personal sin. Like, you can't confront that which those people are doing until you confront what you're doing. So I can't go out there and want to rebuke everybody. You know, the Word of God says, what is it? It's in Corinthians 10:3 or 3:10, I forget. But you know, the walk in the flesh, we don't walk in the, we don't. Although we walk in the flesh, we don't war after the flesh. The weapons of our warfare aren't carnal, but mighty through God. So you got those. You got that. Now the Word of God at the end of that says, and having in a readiness, or does it say that? Or is that with the armor of God? I don't remember. But one thing that it does say is, having in a readiness to avenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So once I've done what I'm supposed to do, then I can confront. You know, after I've pulled the beam out of my eye, then I can see clearly to get the mote out of your eye. So you got to confront your personal sin. The sins that nobody knows about, like, I do this. Oh, really? You do that? You need to confront that. Get that sin out of your life. Get it out. The less sin, the more life is going to be easy. The less sin. Oh, global warming. Global warming wouldn't even be a thing. Less sin, less problems. Man, I don't have any money because you sin. That's why. Man, my sock, it just doesn't fit right, man. It just feels weird because there's sin. Man, my hair never comes out the way I want it to because there's sin. Man, my room is always getting dirty because of sin. Man, my phone keeps shutting off because of sin. Everything bad that happens is because of sin. Because there's sin here, and you got to live with that. Unless you're going to confront it, and shut up and let the sin just control you. Let sin control you, and don't complain when bad things happen. If you're not going to confront sin, don't complain when bad things happen. Like, man, it's like the guy who sits down like, man, they're kicking me out of my house. They're doing this. Don't complain, man, unless you're going to get up and work. Go find a job. I don't want to get a job. Well, shut up and don't complain. Go live outside. Go sleep on the street. That's where you belong, obviously. You don't want to work. I don't know what you think this is. So unless you're going to confront the sin that's in your life and that's in the lives of the other people, don't complain when bad things happen. Don't complain. Let the bad thing happen to you and just continue to sink until you finally go to hell, you know. I mean, like, it'll be better for you to just go to hell. You know, the less people on the planet, the less sin we have. The less sin we have. And say, Sam, that's selfish. Like, no, that's not selfish. Think of all the other people who want to live happy lives, and you're here stinking up the planet with your sin. You're here stinking up the planet with your sin. The less sin, the less problems. Every person that dies that was a sinner, the earth is literally like, got rid of one. One down, millions more to go. That's how the earth feels. The earth moans and groans and it waits for the manifestation of the sons of God. The earth, why do you think we have all these natural disasters? Because the earth is sick of the sin. The earth is like, oh my gosh. So when somebody dies and goes to hell, the earth would rather the sinners be in hell than on it. So the earth is like, man, I'd rather these people all go to hell than be on me and defile it. So that's how the earth feels. Nature like that. That's why you got hurricanes and tornadoes. If there was no sin, we would not have hurricanes and tornadoes. We wouldn't have tsunamis. We wouldn't have none of it. None of it. We wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it. So why tell the sinner, happy birthday? Like, no. Like, oh, if a sinner tells me, hey man, today's my birthday. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, okay. Aren't you going to tell me happy birthday? For what? All you're doing is messing up life. People like you are messing up the world. Like, oh man, it's Earth Day. We should not litter. We should pick up all the trash. There would be no trash, no physical trash on the planet if there was no spiritual trash on the planet. People keep sinning. They're dropping spiritual trash. It manifests physically as people being careless. Less sin, less problems. Less sin equals less problems. Less sin equals less problems. The less sin that's here, the less problems that will be here. The more righteousness, the more faithfulness. Life is going to be smooth as butter, sweet as cake. It's going to be easy. Life is going to be easy with the less sin. You got to confront the sin in your life and then confront the sin in the other people's lives, so that there can be less sin, so that life can be easy, so that you can let your little girl go outside and play without worrying and thinking, man, somebody may come and grab her, so that I can leave. I should be able to leave my car running while I run inside of Walmart real quick and not have to come back and see my car missing. Man, why do we have keys and locks? Because of thieves. Well, why do we have thieves and robbers? Because of sin. The less sin, the less problem you're going to have. If you confront that spirit of robbery and theft in your atmosphere, then that spirit, and then people stop stealing and robbing, that spirit of theft and robbery is going to leave the atmosphere and go somewhere else. Go down to the dry places, and that spirit of theft and robbery is not going to be here. So that guy's not going to go in your house and steal or rob. That's not going to happen because there's no sin. So confront sin. Sin is a big issue. Sin is the biggest problem we have today. It's not the devil, it's sin. And guess what? Sin is in your body. This is sin. It's riddled with sin. Your body is riddled with sin. So you got to confront the sin in your body, confront the sin in your life, so that you can confront the sin outside of your body that's just out. Sin is out and about. Confront it. You got to confront it and bring it down so that life can be easy. So that I can go to the store and get zebra cakes for free. Come on, why do I have to pay for zebra cakes? Because of sin. I should not have to pay for zebra cakes. I shouldn't have to go to the store and pay for apple pie. Why do I have to pay for apple pie? Because of sin. Why do I have to work to make an apple pie? Because of sin. I should be able to snap my fingers and apple pie appear. Apple pie should just appear for me. Why should it appear for you? Because life is not supposed to be this hard. If you like Adam didn't have to put in no work to keep the garden. I mean, yes, he dressed it. However that looked. I mean, come on. We didn't have the limitations. Adam wasn't out there sweating and hurting his back trying to do this. No, Adam was out there. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he just snapped his fingers. I mean, the Lord watered the ground. So it's not like Adam was out there with, oh, let me water this flower. God watered the ground. So now we have to evaluate, what was Adam really doing? Man, that guy was tasting the fruit. Man, this berry will make a good berry pie. Let's snap our fingers. God, let's taste this pie. Like, come on, life was easy. Life was easy. I shouldn't have to fold my clothes. My clothes should just become folded. Sin is what's doing this to us. Sin is what is doing this to us. So come on. Be faithful. The less sin, the less problems, the more the miraculous is going to appear. I shouldn't have to go out there and wash dishes. The dishes, there should be no dirty dishes. Like, come on, life should be easy. Life should be easy. Life should be smooth. You're supposed to be walking on the water. Walk on the water. That's what you're called to do. God has called us to go. We're going to meet him on the sea. And our faith is going to be so strong. Faith is going to be much stronger. We're going to meet the Lord throughout eternity. So I love you all. And God willing, we'll talk with him the next 24 to 48 hours.